All right, guys. So now that you either found a product or at least have a general idea of what niche you want to go into, let's go ahead and we're going to build a winning Shopify store together from A to Z. So this is going to be the first video of many series. Now, the product I chose is the Fish Finder. This is an amazing, amazing product and example. The reason why I chose this is because I want to show you how I would differentiate in a saturated market and how I actually just recently did this with another product and it's doing one of the best. It's really, really, really good. So I kind of want to show you a new angle. And of course, you're also going to have my case study store to look at. So you're going to have so many examples. It's just going to make life a lot easier. So first things first, I just want to really make sure that you at least have a product or a niche. You need to have this before you even start watching this video, or else it's just not gonna, there's just no point to watch this just yet. But first, let me go over why did I choose this Fish Finder. So if we go over here, we can see first off that at least people know what a Fish Finder is. There's 60,000 searches a month. I had no idea that this thing even existed, but apparently this is pretty popular. And also when I go through some of the shopping listings, I see that pretty much these guys right here, who are definitely drop shippers, are kind of getting ripped off by these guys, and then these guys over here are priced higher than these guys, and they're just kind of copying each other. But it's either that you're going to be at the very tippy top premium of the market, or you're going to have some kind of handheld device, which it looks like people are comfortable with paying for. And these guys have quite a big margin, even though they're selling 3 of these kind of handheld things for $300. They still have an incredible margin, and they already are like halfway there to what I personally like as far as doing bundles. However, if we look at their landing pages, it's terrible. These are their landing pages, and there's absolutely no convincing on this. It looks, I mean, maybe to you right now, you might be like, oh, this is good. But no, I'll show you exactly how we're going to structure ours, and it's going to look a lot different. I mean, first of all, the ad copy, want more fishes. Like, this is just kind of laughable. The fact that they're getting sales is a good sign. And then if we look at the couple other ones, their name is extremely, I mean, I definitely wouldn't change a name or pick a name like this. It looks like Go ISIS, honestly. And so if we keep on scrolling down, they have just very generic looking things. And then then they have all this. So this is terrible. And then also these guys, Yang Ting, it's just so bad. And they're copying exactly one-to-one. Do they say the same ad copy? Yes, they do. Want more fishes. And it's a different, oh gosh, that's funny. So other than these kind of stores, we then have these shops right here who are more legitimate, right? How do we stand out from these? Well, the first thing that we want to do is we want to seem like we are the original maker of these. We want to be like, yo, we are the original maker of these handheld fish devices, and everyone else is providing a knockoff, and we are the original kind of store. So another way we're going to also differentiate is by looking a little bit different than these. The only time you want to look similar to a competitor is if it's legitimate. Like, for example, if it was these guys and we were going in the more premium market, we would want to look very similar to these guys. But if these are kind of like the spammers, and honestly probably people that we don't want to look like, you want to look at least a little bit different and make it look like they copied you. So if we go on Alibaba, I found this right here. It's a red one, and it's a little bit more expensive than this yellow one, which it's actually not 37. It is, I found it actually for $23 to $35. So this one is much more updated, I guess you could say, and it has a little bit more features. I think the sonar of this goes a little bit deeper. I need to double check. But overall, this is a higher quality device, and it looks a little bit different visually. So it'll kind of just separate us at first glance, which is great. And so I'm a big fan of this, but this is exactly one-to-one what I've been doing, and it works really, really well. And this is a sweet looking kind of device. So now The next kind of thing we're going to do is, of course, start our free trial. So once we kind of have our general idea, we're going to want to start a free trial. And just generally what you're going to want to do is start with a $29 a month. The only time you're ever going to go to a $79 a month is when you start adding more team members. So once you get up to like 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month, you're going to have other team members on your Shopify store for customer support, refunds, or just anything else, or even a manager. You're going to need kind of to add more staff accounts, which you can have 5, and this one you can only have 2, which is plenty. So we're going to go ahead and start a free trial. And the next thing I want to highlight is you should already you need to create a Gmail address. If you're just starting out, I know there's some people that say, oh, you should create, a professional looking domain with support at fishfinder.com. When you're starting out, it's not important at all. I've tested this so many times. It really doesn't matter. Put in your store name at gmail.com. So once we do that, we're going to go ahead and create our store. And once we kind of go through this process, in the beginning, it's going to seem like a little bit confusing when you're looking at it, but I'm going to go through the main parts, and before you know it, you're going to be a pro. This is so much easier. Before I actually used WooCommerce, and WooCommerce isn't terrible, but it's just very, it's very slow. But anyway, so if we keep on going through this, we actually can skip all of this. So we can go and say skip. And now we have to add an address so we can get paid. Now, but if we're just starting out, I would put an address that is not where you actually live, just for protection reasons. And also, if you're not going to be shipping from the US, you're going to be drop shipping it from China, we're going to have to actually change our address to somewhere in France. The reason why is because I'm going to show you kind of a little trick for using Stripe and pay, whatever. I'll get into it in a little bit, but just kind of know that since we already came to this step. So I'm going to fill this out, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, so we just entered the store, and right here we can see that it already wants us to select a plan. We don't really have to select a plan just yet. So there are a couple things that we're gonna have to do, and first I would like to start with add a domain. So if I get my list over here, the first thing I wanna go over is the domain strategy. Since we're gonna be mainly using Google Ads, it's important for us to choose a domain name that is going to give us search volume and domain authority, I guess, early, but also help us rank. And so the domain name I would choose after kind of looking through this over here, Fish Finder, since this has so much search volume and it's very relevant to our product, I wanted to find something that had Fish Finder in it. And so I usually just go to Google Domains to just roughly find some domains. So I'll just type in, different combinations, and I found this, fishfinderofficial.com. And so if I go back, I'm gonna go ahead and we're not gonna worry about adding a product or anything yet. We're gonna just go ahead and add a domain. And so we're gonna look at these domains, and hopefully it is actually going to be available. So we're gonna buy a new domain, and it's easiest to buy a domain through Shopify. One sec. Now, we actually have the domain here. That's awesome. And it's easiest to buy the domain name through Shopify. The reason why is because it links quickly, and you're not going to have to do any kind of workarounds. As you start building more stores, I'm going to show you in another video way later down the line of how we're going to link domain names with Google Domain. It's not hard, but it's just not necessary at all when we're first starting out. This is only a more advanced way later. So we're going to go ahead and buy it. So once you bought the domain, I want to take you to now setting up your payment processor. And I just wanted to kind of do the main things first. So we're going to go over here, over to settings, click on settings, and then we have payment providers right here. Now before I click on them, I just want to quickly say that a lot of this stuff that you're going to see on the left-hand side, home, orders, online store, a lot of this is going to seem, I guess, overwhelming or confusing at first. But as you kind of visit your Shopify store more and more, especially if this is your first time, you'll get used to where everything is. But right now I'm going to be going through just the main pieces. So I just wanted to say that if you kind of feel overwhelmed right now, don't worry. This is actually one of the easiest platforms there is. And I could really tell that from firsthand experience. So we click right here, payment providers. And we're going to have two options. And I want to explain these because they're very, very important. We have Shopify Payments and PayPal. Shopify Payments is a way for you, of course, to accept money directly through Shopify. However, I would not use Shopify Payments if you are shipping from China. Shopify Payments is a little bit more aggressive against drop shippers, right? So if you are shipping from China, we're gonna do a different method.
Okay, so if you are gonna ship or drop ship from China, let me show you exactly how I've done it. So first, we're gonna click on Manage right up here. We need to deactivate this payment provider right now. We need to scroll all the way down, and we're gonna go ahead and deactivate Shopify Payments, and you could just say payout times are too slow. Great. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go back. We're gonna go to the general view of our store. Now, like I've mentioned before, you should go through all these tabs. One tab, this is important to note. This is your contact email. When people contact you or your store, this is the email it's gonna go to. I really highly suggest you choose an email that you're gonna check. But like I said, as we're launching this and as we're starting, not everything needs to be perfect. So as we scroll down, our store address now needs to be different and out of the country. So we're gonna change this now to France. Cool, great, France, and now we're going to change all of this. So I chose a random street in France. This is how I did it. Sorry, I'll just zoom out. So you literally just go to Google Maps, and we're over here in France. I zoomed in, and I'll just choose a new street actually. I'll just pick right here. This looks great. I'm gonna click, and there we go. I'm gonna copy this. The only thing is, I don't know if this is a street or we're gonna just imagine that's a street. And here, and what's funny, your address does not need to be really all that accurate. Boom. Okay, so now it knows that we have an address in France. Very, very, very important. So now we're gonna go back into settings down here on the bottom left, and we're gonna go to payment providers. Now we can choose a third-party payment provider. So, oh yeah, right here. So choose a third-party provider, and what we're gonna do is, yes, exactly, set up Stripe. So this is who we want to set up with, and once we set up with them, it's a couple steps. To go through this, you need to make sure you fill out the right information that's actually real about you. That's the only way that you're actually gonna get money transferred into your bank account. So just go through these steps, and this is exactly how you do it if you are dropshipping.
If we are going to be shipping from the US, all we have to do is click this button right here and complete the account setup, and it'll take us through the necessary steps as far as it might ask us EIN number, our address, our name, very, very, very simple things, and just to verify our account. And then of course we're going to have to link our bank account, and so that way we can get paid. So the next one we also have is PayPal. So a lot of people might think that PayPal is against dropshippers or is not against dropshippers. My experience is PayPal is fine. It's great. It's a great tool to use. However, if you don't want to use PayPal, it's actually not that big of a deal either. Truthfully, you could easily just click right here, deactivate PayPal Express, and you can deactivate this. If you don't click right here to deactivate it, you're gonna immediately give customers a way to check out with PayPal. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna have sitting payments within PayPal. Unless you complete your account setup, your payments are gonna be sitting there. So you need to choose whether you want PayPal or you don't. You could easily just deactivate it in the beginning and you'll be completely fine. Now, one of the more fun things I wanna mention is this new kind of way to design your website, and best thing of all, it's free. So if I go over here, this is called gemthemes.net. Very different than GemPages. GemThemes is a new, they just released it, and this is going to allow you to customize everything about your website, header, footer. I mean, you're gonna see me going step by step, but I just wanna show you how exciting this really is because I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna download it right now, and it's gonna download a zip file, oh wait, I guess it's not. Oh, that's great. Okay, cool. So it's not gonna download a zip file, it's just gonna go straight to the Shopify store. I'm gonna install it, and we should be good. Let's see. Awesome. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go ahead, we can continue. It's gonna give us kind of a couple options, but I mean, look how slick this already looks. I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous. We already have our countdown timers. We even have some other features, which I'm gonna show you. They have little pop-ups like sale notifications. Let's focus on what suits your business needs. That's crazy. They even have drop shipping. That's great. Build your own brand. Truthfully, it doesn't matter too much. They're going to offer the same themes. They don't have a wide selection of themes to really differentiate yet because it's so new. Now, what I really want to highlight is you need to make sure that you went on GemPages or gemthemes.net. You're not going to find it in the Shopify App Store, at least as of right now. Like, you literally can't find it. Now, setting this up from scratch is going to be actually a separate video, and I'm going to be going through all of these, and I know, kind of a bummer because this is one of the more fun ones, but what I want us to do is just kind of lay down the foundation. So we just started our free trial, we're using Gem Themes, we have our Stripe, our PayPal set up, and now the next couple things we need to do is our Merchant Center, and then of course get our essential apps set up. So right now that's all for this video, and I'm going to see you guys very shortly.